So it should be on our YouTube too.
Yeah. Add to the stream.
Okay, okay, cool. All right. Yep.
Beginning. Got it.
I don't here.
Gentlemen, how are you?
Hey, what's going on, Tony?
Oh, everything is great. Good to see you guys.
You too, man.
This one. There we go. Another day, doing it, NAC way. It is so apparent to me. Yeah, I'm going to talk about the meeting Friday. Man.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Sunday. Moretta Brown Miller here. Hey, hey.
Say what you say.
Happy Sunday.
Sunday. It's the next best day to what? Monday. Well, you know that's the
Or
best
Friday.
You got joke.
Uh-huh.
Monday is too close to Monday. You gotta do everything. All right. All right. Yeah, let me send it out real quick. We start up.
What am I looking for? What am I looking for? All right, y'all, and we're live. Thank y'all for joining us. Y'all know we do this thing between hours of 6 and 8 p.m. every Sunday. We bring you Northwest Austin Council. You know, this community folk talks to community thing right here on the west side. Got to keep y'all informed and entertained while y'all cleaning up, doing your laundry, or just getting prepared for Monday. You know, there's a lot of things that happening lately. Of course, the flood is on everybody's mind, and what is our leadership going to do about making sure folks are compensated, whether they've already paid out some money or they need some money, because a lot was lost during the flood. So of course we got to touch on that. We had a meeting Friday, and we're going to expound a little bit on what that meeting entailed and what the different governmental entities that the Austin community in particular, because we on the west. Now we care about the whole west side, but we based in Austin, you know, and so we want to make sure that those governmental entities that actually function in Austin, we want to tell y'all exactly what they were talking about. And then we want to move on and get into some other things, particularly is the current state of the community, and especially as it relates to the flood. Is this really on leadership? Is this a leadership situation that has really put us in a position where not only the communities look the way they look, but also when things of tragic circumstance happen to us, it almost seems as though they are nowhere to be found. They on milk carts, you know. Is that true? Is that reasonable to say? I don't know, but we'd like to talk about it. Anyway, that being said, you know, I always start off by tossing it over to Steve, man. Say what you got going on.
Well, we finishing up the weekend, and Massasoit block, 1200 block, where NAC is right, been predominantly in the area for the last 51 years between Division and Potomac. They had their block club party. I think this year will be, that I know of, the 31st year that they've had their block club party with the same block club leadership. As always, that's how it always rolls. When you have long-term leaders on the block still sustain. And they had a nice turnout. Looked like a little bit more kids than usual. Good mix of kids, because there are probably 20% Spanish-speaking people on the block now. But all said, it seemed like everybody had a good time. And I think, as you said earlier, DeAndre, we're going to talk about the flood, you know, where we at now and where's the leadership, because it's been, what, over 21 days?
Yeah, 3 weeks now. It happened on Sunday the 2nd.
Yeah,
21 days today.
Yeah, 21 days. So, and we were still waiting for the declaration. I actually got a letter. The lady sent me a letter, a 3-page letter, and she literally addressed the letter to me, President of the United States, and everybody else that was the Better Business Bureau, and she wants some action taken. And I'm like, I understand. I totally understand. I mean, it amazes me, but you know, hey, she took the time out. She wrote the letter the day of the flood. That's the crazy part. No, I'm sorry. It was the week after. I mean, the first 3 days after the flood. So, but I'm gonna express a little bit of this letter to the viewers. I'm not gonna give all her information, but she literally made it out. It says, regarding the sewer backup/flood. She made it out to Northwest Austin Council. She made it out to the City of Chicago Office of the Mayor. She made it out to the Federal Emergency Management Agency, which is FEMA. She made it out to the Department of Streets and Sand. She made it out to Alderman Mitts. She made it out to J.B. Pritzker. And she also made it out to the Better Business Bureau, which I guess she plans on going to the BBB on the government. because much of what she kind of said was implicating that the government had much to do with it because of what the water looked like, and she said she finally went down, then it came back again, and she lost everything, and she wants some ramifications and some explanations and some compensation taken to help her out. So, you know, I'm hearing this from a lot of people. Unfortunately, I haven't heard anything from any of the entities, and I was hoping to hear something from Congressman Davis so that we can pass the word on, because my understanding, he went back to DC last week, and he was supposed to talk to the president.
Your laundry's something fresh.
Original. Hopefully he'll stop by tonight, and then we can dive in with him.
Yeah.
And get some more information. Hey, Ms. Houston, I was just saying that you had your 31st or probably more block club party that I could recall, and it went off very well.
Oh yeah, we had a wonderful time. Kids had a ball. I just had a problem with a few cars that didn't get off the street.
Oh,
And the kids kept running into them with the bikes, and I didn't want the kids to get hurt. So next year I'm gonna have it fixed where they either tow the cars. If you just don't want, you know, to move it, then they'll tow it.
you jack it up and push it out the way. That's
Yeah, I didn't want to do that, you know, but people don't have sense. They don't care about these kids because the kids kept running their bikes into the car. One little boy hit his head so hard on the car. You know, that lady with the big yard, she didn't move her car, and he hit his head so hard, I thought he was hurt, but he got up. He was okay.
Oh, that's good. So am I not right? This is the 31st year, or has it been more than 31 years that you've had the block club?
Ooh, my gosh. It's got to be close to 31st. It's so long. I lost count.
That's all right. We appreciate you because we know that those long-term leaders on the block, and we know we started to call, we don't call them presidents unless they truly are the president of it. You know, they have a charter block, but we decided to call the leadership facilitators, you know, because that's really what you guys are. You're facilitating all the needs of what happens on the block. You're the go-to person in most cases.
Yeah, and I was surprised. I had two Latinos who participated. One just ate and went in the house, but the other one brought their grill out and cooked and everything.
Yeah, I saw that. In Hazel's old house.
Yeah.
Another point I want to bring up is how the people are transitioning and how the properties are becoming available. You know, I want to say on Massasoit, we've had in the last, 2-3 years, 4 properties or more that have become available.
Yeah. Last 2 years. And they just sold, you know, they're selling fast. Because now we don't have any buildings that's vacant on our block. They all been bought up by Latinos.
Right. So we lost Hazel's, we lost Marie, we lost, what was his name? Terrence and Vernon. We lost,
the veteran across the street. I can't think of her name.
Yeah.
We call her May. I can't think of her name.
That's just been the last year. But it's happening everywhere. We you know, I really think, I've been trying to think of some things that, you know, so like when I came to Northwest Austin Council, we had a program that was called First Time Home Buyers Direct Sales Program. And beyond calls it regentrification. So where you really didn't, you know, when you left your community, but you didn't leave it, but you need to come and live again and give back by living there. And, you know, being a responsible homeowner. And ain't nothing wrong with being a homeowner because these days I know it beats paying rent.
Yeah, we need our educated brothers and sisters to buy homes, man, and, you know, be an active part of the community, you know?
Absolutely.
I get it though, it's difficult, you know, when you're a young person and, you know, you have a budding career and you're really starting to take off, and you're a young father like myself or your mother, and you have a young family, and then you gotta look at the ecosystem of where you live at, you know. And it's difficult because, you know, we're actively looking right now in Austin, as I said, and a lot of times the homes that we're looking at, they're not ready to move in, which is okay so long as you have enough to be able to fix it up. But then you gotta look at the other parts around it. Okay, what are the school system like, or what schools are available? Extracurricular resources. You know, for example, my daughter is in swimming, right? Like she likes gardening, playing in dirt, and you know, I really want to do that with her, which I have in the past, just not this summer because of having my car stolen, which I still ain't got back 4 months later. I got the car like 3 days later, but it's been broke for 4, you know, that's a whole other story. Anyway, then you gotta think about where the hospital is and how good those are. Then you gotta think about parks and the other recreation and where that's located and how's that, you know. Yeah, you gotta think about food, you know, like where are we going? Like that was the first thing that my lady just asked me, well, where's the grocery store? And I was like, well, it's a little convenience store around the corner. But of course, that's not a grocery. There's nothing healthy in there, you know. So that means we'd have to drive a little further south, you know.
But DeAndre, let me say this to you. I'm not meaning to criticize, but y'all doing too much. That's too much. You overselling, because anywhere you go, they're gonna have that problem unless you move to Oak Park and you close to Whole Foods or you close to Preston. And you know what? We got two good schools. St. Angela class is really doing well. Then Young is not that bad because they helped my great nephew out a lot because he has a learning disability, and that boy has learned a lot. As far as the groceries, you always have that problem. And as far as the parks, you got the Austin Town Hall that gives swimming classes.
Right.
You got the Columbus Park that has swimming classes. It ain't gonna be in your back door. It ain't gonna be 2 or 3 blocks from you, you know, but they're available for you there if you want to use them, you know, but you can overwhelm yourself with what too much where it knocks you out of your blessings. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not criticizing, I'm just telling you, chill out a little bit, because you can kill your blessings by overwhelming yourself with all these what is I don't have, because it's all over the place.
We're not worried about that though. But I'm still looking at it. So I'm looking at it because right now my family currently lives in Humboldt Park, right off of Division and Western. And when we're looking for different services and activities, that stuff is much more accessible, including grocery shopping and other types of shopping. Like, I mean, literally 7 minutes from, we're right around the corner from Cermak Produce. So we almost, that's walking distance. I can walk down the street to Cermak. Jules is in the other direction, maybe 7 minutes away. The gym that I go to when I drop my baby off in the morning is 7 minutes north. The program because she's also diagnosed with autism. So the program that we're gonna put her in for ABA therapy is gonna be 8 minutes away from the school that she's gotten into, which is a magnet school, which is LaSalle 2. And if you know about LaSalle is one of the top schools that they have in the city of Chicago. And so it's like, just in that area alone, she has everything that she would need to be, and us as, you know, again, people that are really starting to have burgeoning careers, like that is a place where we realistically could start a family and build a great life right up in that area, because they've now started to move the zip code line and change West Humboldt Park to West Town. So now you're talking about property values are escalating now. It's probably priced out of our range, so we ain't focused on that. But I just mean, like, you do have a lot, and as opposed to coming way west over here, and you would like to see that type of thing in Austin. But again, that's the reason why people that become educated have to live here so they can actually advocate for those services and for our communities to be in a better position. Because the more people that move over this way with the money means that we can actually influence change for the better for the community, just like they have in that community. Because the only reason why Humboldt Park has all of this stuff is because all of the money went over there, and now they've started to move these lines and make sure that the people's quality of life suits how they need to feel in order to feel like this is somewhere that I can really thrive at. And we want the same thing in Austin, but we gotta fight for it.
Right. So you're saying regentrify Humboldt Park area because they pushed all the Latinos out.
Oh, no, they
That's
pushed
why
all
they're
of them
all
out?
over here.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We need to re-gentrification here. Black folks better start buying here before we get all pushed out to it. And, you know, before our elders, you know, pass, and then they start passing on the homes and everything like that. They go to other folks outside of the community. Like, if we really, you know, want to keep this community ours, you know, we really got to keep working on it, you know?
We're still in close proximity to a lot of the main things. Like if you needed to get in the airport, you can be at O'Hare in what, less than 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes at the most?
Yeah, it's about 25.
You know, you could be at, you know, the
Downtown, you can still make it in 20 minutes.
20, 30 minutes
Yep.
downtown. You can make it to the western suburbs shopping, you know, Oak Brook and what have you, same amount of time. So we're in a good proximity,
Yeah.
you know, and it's always been like that. And we just have to learn to take advantage and get younger people to gentrify
Right.
back to where they grew up and stay. And to your point, I was told this 15, 20 years ago. They were like, Steve, why are you still doing this?
Right.
You know, now this 15, 20 years ago, I had half the time in the NAC. It's like, you got a good, you know, you got a good job, you got a good degree, you got family, you know. I'm like, because I can. And if you come and help and support, the burden won't be so hard on me. We need people that, you know, now again, I was 20 years younger, you know, my late 30s or whatever. And I'm going, come and help. You know, if you can't help by moving back and putting in the time, send some money so we can get some people to help. You know, push the initiative. But it all revolves around, and I'm going to segue into something that we went into the other day, and that was the whole idea of there was a big meeting out south. Congressman Davis was there. Pastor Jakes, I think he kind of helped throw it together at St. Paul Church on 45th and Wabash. And there were so many West Siders there at that event. But one of the guys that was there, he was from Inglewood, and he was promoting block club development. And everything he said about block club development was the key to what it takes to keep our city safe. Because he went on to say, when people came up from the South, in many cases, the people created block clubs because they wanted that unity. And that unity solidified all the things that were needed on the block. He said, you know, you should have a code of ethics for your block. You know, that should be out there. That should be, I'm like, man, I've been saying that also for you. He said, you should also know who your neighbors are. He said, people don't know their neighbors anymore. And I'm like, yeah, we've been talking about that. And he brought up, you know, beautification and these other entities. And everything that he said, I'm like, this is what we have to go back to. And it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It may not happen right now, but it will happen. We have to have it. We have to have it to build and create a safer community, safer neighborhood, safer city. You know, I tell everybody, all it takes is a third of the people on the block. If you can then unite a third of the people, 1 out of every 3, then you're good. You can do it. You can make it happen. And that just means that they're speaking to each other, they're communicating, they care. Back to the 3 principles, and that they stay connected. See something, say something, talk to the leaders, talk to your facilitators, and we can make it happen. We can make it happen. So what you got? Do you got something you wanted to push into? Because we can go on with block club development, I'm for me. Cause all I know is it just takes people that want it. And then what I'm finding out lately, people want their blocks developed, but it's always after something critical has happened.
Yeah.
You know, critical. Other than Ms. Jacobs, we've been working with her. She didn't have anything serious happen on her block, but she knew you still got to keep people tight. You got to keep people in the loop. You got to keep people in the know. You got to keep people understanding this is part of their environment.
Yeah, speaking of Ms. Jacobs, no, we got to get back over there to continue on with the work on your block there. And I also got a number for you for a group that helps with establishing community gardens. I know you own the land over there where the garden is, but I don't know if you want to, put something on it. You know what I mean? I know it's more of an open space right now, but there's some groups that's willing to help with getting it reupholstered, if you will. And I do have that number if you want to talk to them, Ms. Jacobs.
Okay, well, DeAndre, yes, maybe we can set up maybe a date in August when we can try to get this block together again, and then we can form what you call it, Steve, what is facilitators. And then we can invite those people that you were saying that might do something with the lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I could bring them out. That way, they could tell you about what it is that they do and how they, curate blocks or whatever. Because over on our in the island, we have the Island Oasis, which has become a play-space area for kids towards the back. Then they've established a stage so that folks could watch movies out there. We have a little fire pit where we can roast marshmallows and put s'mores and all that, which we've done. We have sitting areas where we can host our community meetings at, and it's just they renovated the entire space. So instead of it just being, essentially, how would you call it? Like a open space, if you will, they put things there. So I could bring them out too.
Yes, that's a good idea, because once we get this block club set up, then that would be nice that we could have a movie night before school start or right after school start. Once we get the block club set up, we need to get this block club, because what happened last night, they was having a party and all this info and all this stuff. So one of the neighbors called me, and I like to do. I said, did you call? Yeah, I called. They still out here, and it was out all the clock. So I called, and I looked out the window for an hour. I ain't saw no police. All we was asking for a car to come down and tell them to turn the music down. That's all we said. We didn't tell them to come out and try to stop a fight or somebody was shooting or whatever. But they never consent. They don't have a car for that, I don't guess.
Yeah.
So nobody never came out.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I was trying to get at the last meeting, was to have somebody from OEMC come out and actually talk about how calls are dispatched. Because again, those noise complaints, depending on the hour, what hour a day would you say this was?
It was after 11 o'clock. They had started early, but it was still going on after 11 o'clock.
Okay. Well, they probably should have had somebody available at minimum. But the thing about it is 7 to 3 are the roughest hours in police. And because of being short-staffed and all the various reasons you've already heard a million times, when it comes down to situations like noise disturbances, yeah, they go on the list, but the list we have is so much backup from the previous shift that they're still trying to make those up, And so, like I said, one of the things that we're trying to do, especially in the 15th district with the police district councils, by the way, if you've never come to one of our meetings, y'all gotta come, because these type of issues as it relates to policing, now this is what we could consider a police accountability issue. You called the police, they never showed up. This is an accountability issue. But these are the type of things that we need for folks to come to our meetings and talk about so that we can leave them, so they can be listed and they are automatically public record. So we can keep track of these things. But one of the things that what I want to see in the 15th district is at minimum, and I'm going to work on this as a member of the district council. So within these next 4 years, I want to see this happen. I want to see at minimum, if a noise complaint is called, like you just said, Ms. Jacobs, I want to see a car go to that home either that night and give them a ticket, or go in the morning and talk to them and say, the next time we get a call about a noise complaint, we got to give you a ticket. Something needs to happen as a result. Now, I understand it's the summer and people, it's almost like it's difficult to try to, it's the summer. Like people want to, hang out.
But we have, we know it's summer. And we know people are going to have parties and things in their backyard. I have no problem with that. But after a certain hour, and you've been out there all evening and half of the night, we need some order.
Yeah.
And I think they should have a special car. All these policemen is not at a crime scene or whatever. They should have a special car for that, a special unit or car or whatever for situations like that. You follow me?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. But we'll figure it out. But yeah, that's one of the things that I need folks to come to our meeting. So our next meeting is actually August 10th, and we're actually gonna be on a church over there in that part of the Austin community where your sister stays. It's a church right off the expressway out there on Sister.
Okay, right on the corner.
Yep, right there. We're gonna be at that church.
Okay. Oh, yeah. And Andre, that made me think. What did you? Okay, I know this flood came up and knocked a lot of things out. So, have you thought about any more about going over there?
Of course, but part of the reason why we're having our meeting there is so that we can get them folks to come out and talk to the district council, meet their district councils, but also, we can start that process of getting block clubs going, but we need them to come out,
right? And we need a third of those people to come out.
Yeah, we need some of the folks to come on out. Now, so that's going to be our first step. Our first step is to hold a meeting over there with the district councils and talk about the issues that's going on. Now, from that meeting, that's going to let us know if the community want me at least to come back and do some work with them. Because like Ms. Jacobs, we just did the thing on 900 block, and the heavy lifting was between you, myself, and whoever else was involved to make it happen. We just did something with Venus and her garden. The heavy lifting was between myself, Venus, and Angelica. And when I go over there to help your sister's block, that movement gonna have to be between myself, somebody from that block, and whoever else want to get involved. You know what I'm saying? I can't do it all myself. So they gotta come. So that's gonna be so I'm gonna let you know. We're gonna have a flyer and everything out soon. But yeah, that's gonna be the first step for them. Come to our meeting. We're gonna be right on the corner. They ain't got no excuse. We're gonna be right on the corner. So that's how we're gonna start it.
Okay. But in the meantime, so we gotta set up a date. Like I said, maybe in August that we can come back to 900 block and form a block club. Okay.
Yeah, you just let me know. Let me know when you want to do it again, and we'll get the people to come back out. I was listening to the responses of the neighbors when I came out there. They told me they wanted somebody that was like a contractor that could come talk about how much it costs for roofing repairs and stuff like that. I got that person. I'm gonna bring OMC back out to talk, or they couldn't come last time, but I'm gonna bring them out to talk about the cost of service. And I'm gonna try to get somebody from the alderman's office, because I know they told me about wanting to put either a road. They wanted a stop sign. It was a stop sign that they wanted at the end of the street because folks be speeding along there. They told me. So those are the things that that when we was out there, the neighbors said they wanted. So I'm gonna try to get those resources to come out and be able to, share information with them.
And we got 4,800 block of Ferdinand, they want to form. We got 5,200 block of Quincy. Quincy, they want to form. So everybody's trying to get on board, but you have to be able to sustain your block, because once we get you going, we can only give you the tools.
Right.
You got to be able to use them on your own once we get you going. So every little bit helps.
You said something. What?
What are we talking
Oh,
about?
we were talking about. We started off by talking about the noise complaint. So I was telling Ms. Jacobs about OMC and how called the dispatch, and that led us to talking about the block club development we've been trying to do. So we did about 3 weeks ago. We had the 900 block of Lockwood, which is where Ms. Jacobs is the block club leader of. We had all of them come gather in the garden, and we had different resources come out to speak about certain elements of public safety. Myself as a district council, we had Ramel come out as a community commissioner. We had the superintendent stop by. We had Director Brooks stop by. We had a couple resources come out to talk to the community as well. And most of the people gave us their numbers as well in the regard of wanting to start up the block club. And so during that, at the end, some of them approached me and they asked me for certain resources that they would like to see or issues that they were having. And I told them that the next time we came out, that I would make sure that I bring those resources. So right now, we're just talking about, I didn't get a chance to bring OEMC out, but that's when the weather was bad with the wildfires. So they didn't want to come out, but they will come out to the next one, so long as, again, the air quality is good, I suppose. And contractor, I found that I want to bring to the community, as well as hopefully somebody from the alderman's office that they could talk to about the speeding that happens. They want to put a stop sign on Augusta, I think it was. So that's kind of what we were talking about, Ms. Burke.
Along with
again. So you want to talk about the flood? So what happened? Recap Friday,
Yeah. So Friday the 14th, at the actual meeting for the flood, and it was held at Reverend Griffin's church, which is New Inspiration Baptist Church, which is right on Monitoring Division. And we had good crowd of people came out. We had way better control. We actually had the Congressman Davis came out. We had State Rep Mill Lilly. We had Alderman Chris Tully-Farrow. We had Representative Harry from Alderman Emma Mitt's office, 37th Ward. And we had Tara Stamps, Cook County Commissioner. She came out towards the end. And we gave them more than enough opportunity to ask the questions. Many of the people in the audience we probably had about 40 questions, 30 questions. And it was opportunity to get answers on all levels, the federal, and the state, the county, and the city. We had people representing all of it. And one of the things that, and everybody on here knows, they want to know, when are they going to get their money for the damages that occurred? And the last thing that was said at that meeting was that the governor has declared the area a disaster, which means that it goes to the federal government, and the president just has to sign off on it so that FEMA can come in and start supporting the issues that are going on, or that have gone on, to take care of people. Others have started to speak on, Cicero, they were declared and they're getting money. And one thing that was said is, if they are getting money, they're getting it from the mayor. And the mayor's taking that out of some funds that he had in Cicero to cover people, which I don't know how a mayor has that much money in a town like Cicero, unless they collected a lot of money from tickets, you know, traffic tickets and everything else. But maybe that is happening. I don't have 100% confirmation on that. Camille Lilly, state rep, she spoke of the things that the state's doing, which one of them was to allow people to go to the Department of Human Services for assistance and help. And they can go directly there. I think you have to qualify first, if I'm not mistaken. Who else? What did Natalia Farrell, what was it?
I mean, they talked about the resources that they have at their office, rooms, the buckets, all of that. And if you were a senior and you needed basement cleanup or help with it, they had that in their office as well. All you had to do was reach out to them.
And then Ms. Stamps, she didn't have much.
Yeah, no, she just acknowledged the crowd, you know, said hi, said back, but also said, you know, take it easy on the mayor, y'all. Take it easy on him. She said,
He brought light to him.
yeah.
Nobody said anything about the
Take
mayor.
it easy on him.
I thought that was strange.
Y'all whooping him up. He just got there. Give him some grace.
I don't think that's the case. Do you?
No, hell no.
The West Side ain't been coming down on him.
No, ain't
But
nobody.
when she mentioned it, it gave everybody an opportunity to say, hey, now that you mentioned that,
Yeah, the real.
you know,
Where is he at?
yeah, nobody has said anything, you know, regarding the mayor. But hey, you know, it's a position, it's a job. Everybody's got to be responsible.
It's a big job too.
But yeah, that meeting was concluded in that fashion. We did, the other thing we did, we definitely got the petition out that day. As we speak, we're still trying to gather for the petition. We need thousands, you know, to sign for this petition. Then we figured if we got at least 20 people on a block to sign, that's a good start, a very good start. 20 people, that should be too hard to get when you have over 30 homes on a block. And, affected or not, they were affected in one way or another. So we want to push the petition drive, which DeAndre created. What else was there we did to kind of figure out where we're at? We're still pushing. I mean, that petition actually is what we need to get to present so we can make sure. Because I'm telling you, all this declaring and all this stuff, I don't think that's going to push these politicians, man. I think you're going to have to, petition. That's your protest. Ain't nobody marching like that no more. I mean, especially the thing is, they're not doing that. So you have to look at the petitions and push those petitions. I mean, I said to everybody in here, if you get 20 signatures, we good. I mean, we on the path of being good. So, Bertha, you got a question? Yeah.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. I wanted to know, when the congressman was on, he mentioned the help for the seniors as well. And at that point, I asked him about people with disabilities and what have you. Were they trying to get some help for those people also to have their basements cleaned out? Have you all heard anything about help for those people?
Well, most definitely. As long as I know from the city, they said anybody that needed help, all they had to do was sign up on the list and they'll come over. Dorothy Connor told me they came to her house and she was surprised they came so fast. And she had just paid somebody to get some of the stuff out, but they came and poured all the extra stuff out and took care of it. But I don't think they're gonna do any like a pavement or construction, but they're just really moving all of this stuff to prevent the mold and what have you.
So who should they call for that, Steve? Because people have been asking me, and
Okay.
I want to direct them to the right people.
Depending on what ward they're in. But I don't
So
even
I'm
think-
saying, should it be their alderman they call, or should it be Danny's office? Who should they call?
Alderman's office.
Well, I heard that they had to call the alderman and give them their name and address and everything, and they would get somebody out there.
Yep, that's what I just said. That's exactly what I said. But it seemed to be that it didn't matter which alderman, because as long as you got on the list, they were going to redirect that group over to your house anyway. Because I know Dorothy lives in 29th Ward, and she signed if I'm not mistaken, signed the list for the 36th Ward. So, who else had a question? Linda, you got a question? Oh, yeah, they are still doing it from my understanding. I know one thing that happened, I'm just gonna say this, with the brooms and mops, or the mops and buckets and cleaning supplies, I think many of them ran out, and that just aggravated people even more, because I know 29th Ward, they only had enough for 100 at the time, but people kind of aggravated that they didn't get the supplies after that number ran out. Then the other side of the coin, I ran into some women and they were like, why they giving us my bucket? You know, why don't they send some men over here and get it done? We tired, we mopping and bucketing and everything, mopping things anyway every day. So, you know, it's a lot going on right now, still. And there are still people that don't have hot water yet. 21 days out, 20 days out, yeah, 20 days out. So, comments on the flood or what have you? I'm just waiting. I'm hoping that Congressman comes by today and gives us some information from his visit and have some good news that people, they can't wait too much longer.
So I went to this past, what was it, Friday? Roman Morrow did a follow-up press conference for the FOIA request. So if y'all didn't know, there were a couple FOIA requests that went out in the regard of one, they FOIA'd the Streets and Sand to see.
Explain FOIA.
So FOIA is Freedom of Information Act, and that allows any civilian person to obtain documents relating to any particular act, if you will. There are certain acts that are unFOIAble, but especially when you're in a governmental position, typically anything that was not in a closed meeting setting is available. So you could FOIA somebody's phone, somebody's email, probably it's just documentation, really. It ain't. I'm trying to think what other form. Government. Yeah, in general, it's government. Anybody that's in a governmental role, you can FOIA documents on behalf of whatever act, whatever question you want answered. And so in this case, the question that the FOIA party is asking for is, was there proper maintenance on the sewers of the West Side? You know, is the reason why there was this backup here on the West Side related to any negligent behavior because folks didn't want to clean up, for example. Then the other thing that they are asking for is they FOIA the Water Reclamation District to actually see if there any validity behind the fact that it seems, and most people have speculated, whether it's true or not, it's still to be decided, but it seems as if the decision was made to flood the West Side, for example, as a way to circumvent flooding downtown because NASCAR was in town. And that has been a lot of the conversation. And the Water Reclamation District has been FOIA'd in order to ascertain if that is actually the case. And so you'll be able to see the correspondence between city departments to actually verify was there some malicious intent behind the flooding happening on the West Side. And so those are two of the FOIAs that have gone out, and this past Friday was a follow-up. Not only that, but they wanted to make sure they acknowledged that Pastor Darius Brooks, as well as Willie Wilson, had given the community a bunch of PPE and water, PPE being masks, gloves, hand sanitizer, sanitizing wipes, bleach. I don't remember seeing any mop buckets or mops or anything like that, but a lot of cleaning supplies that can really help with the mold and the other issues that came as a result of flood. And so part of that press conference was to also acknowledge that those folks have helped, while also also acknowledging that our city government and other government officials have largely been absent, because one of the things that came up during the press conference was that the Red Cross was over in Cicero and Berwyn and Stickney, helping those folks out there that, you know, they were also devastated by the flood, but none of those services were here in Austin, where people could argue that we were probably even harder hit than him. You know, now everybody who's anybody are going to say that they were hardest hit than, you know, somebody else, but, you know, that goes, that's neither here nor there. But the Red Cross was telling folks from the West Side, hey, if y'all want to come get some information or y'all want to get some services, y'all need to come down here to Cicero. You know, they had CETA down there, they had ComEd down there, they had Salvation Army down there. They had a bunch, when Red Cross came, they came with a bunch of different organizations that can help with flood relief, but they didn't come to the West Side. So there was a lot of questions about why not. And I think one of the things that came from that is those areas, their mayors called a disaster declaration. Whereas in the city of Chicago, we didn't get a disaster declaration. Now, Cook County, as well as the governor, both called disaster declarations, but the city of Chicago did not. And so I was almost wanting to challenge this idea of, is it wrong for us to argue that the Red Cross was over in those suburban communities when their mayors or other elected officials actually called them out, if you will, by declaring a disaster declaration? Is our ire in the right place? Should it be placed on our leadership? Like, should we expect more, especially with the circumstances of the flood? You know, and I would go on a limb and say we should. We should have gotten more. We should expect more. We should have heard more. We should know more.
And the action should be starting 22 days, 21 days out.
Yeah.
Police said that the NASCAR engineer got electrocuted during the flood.
Oh wow.
I didn't know that.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
She also was asked by Red Cross to volunteer 2 Sundays in a row. She asked about Austin. What did they say, Felicia? What did they say about Austin when you asked, can she volunteer for Austin? Can you volunteer for Austin? I'm sorry.
Not a thing. How y'all doing? How you doing, Steve? Feeling all right?
Yeah, I'm holding it together.
I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, they was trying to get me to volunteer like 2 Saturdays in a row. Yesterday would have been a beautiful day to volunteer too, but I'm concerned about my own community. Like, it's like, oh my God, you can't keep neglecting Austin.
Right.
We need, it's a lot of people. Like you said, a lot of people don't have water, and then you got to wait till these water heaters and stuff dry out. And see, I didn't get it so bad. I think my walls was kind of seeping, and then my ceiling by my bedroom was kind of leaking from the attic or something. So, but it's a lot of people that had a whole lot of standing water all the way up to the couch. But mine did knock out my pilot light. but it wasn't no really disastrous thing.
Yeah, we got you. Well, that's good that it wasn't that bad, because we had 4 feet, 3 feet, 3 feet of water. Literally, that lived in basements and they lost everything. Bedrooms and personal effects, everything they had in the basement. So fortunate enough that they didn't because there was some fires. I know there was at least one fire, and the sirens was going off that day when we were at the studio. And there was down division on Lawler, I think Lawler. Actually, a fireman was electrocuted in that, going into that issue. I think the fire started in the wall because of the water. And that's crazy. The basement, right in the walls in the basement, and went way up. But anyway, yeah, we definitely got to get this resolved, because the more we keep talking about it, and we're not talking about, I mean, realistically, we haven't really talked about getting over the hump. Yeah. We're still talking about this. I hate to go back to 5 shows ago, when I said, where Superman ain't coming, where's Superman? And we weren't even talking about it as an issue, because it wasn't an issue back then. But we just started noticing that many of the things that we need in our communities are not happening because we're waiting for Superman.
Yeah. That brings me to a point too. Within that press conference that Roman put together, a few things was there. One of which was he said that we shouldn't have to rely on a Dr. Willie Wilson or a Pastor Darius Brooks to give resources to the community. And I disagree with you. I think that's the whole point of community. If you have it and you have it in abundance and folks need it, you should be able to give. Now, what that also means is that the folks that don't need it don't take. And I think that is something that I see way too often. You be like, all right, man, dang, you ain't need all of that. But I do think it's really on us, because like you said, there is no Superman. We're supposed to help ourselves where we can. Many hands make light work,
Right.
And so one of the things, so that made me think, especially because, again, part of the press conference was really talking about where are, our elected officials in the matter, and where's the different forms of government, where he was saying that it should be on the CDPH, Chicago Department of Health, to provide masks and gloves and sanitizers and things like that. And it should be on the Water Reclamation District to make sure that folks also have whatever resources that they can provide. And I'm almost like, yeah, but no. I know government plays a huge role in resources and especially quality of life type of issues, but have to rely on each other too. Like, we got to figure out how to become a much more organized community,
right?
And I going to what we were talking about, block club. I wish if we had more people in positions as block club facilitators,
right? Because
it would have made the list that much more easier. We would have had an itemized list of who all needed help, what kind of help they needed, and what kind of resources.
Who truly needed the help.
Man, and then we could have a point person to go pick those things up. And we could have helped each other. And now we be talking about, how do we again get all of those names together so that they can be involved in whether it's a petition, a lawsuit, or whatever it's going to be in order to rectify the situation. But it's just like we don't have enough of an organized approach when it comes to these things. Right. This is the reactive nature of our community and a lot of the systems that we work with. And it's like being proactive actually means being communal with each other, being able to have apparatus in place, not only for the block, but at your home,
Well, I can tell you this much, past the 40 block, I heard from almost everybody.
Mm.
I would say at least or more of the leaders. I heard from. They give me the lowdown, you know, where they hit hard, or they hit mildly, or
Right.
and they kind of knew who, you know, who was hit on the block for water conditions or extreme weather conditions.
Mm.
But again, you're right. We do need to look at how do we support ourselves. But again, government has a role also. Most definitely, you know, they have a role, but it needs to be defined so that everybody knows what to look for. Because I'm telling you, the next move is going to be with community. We're going to have a major meeting about insurance companies.
Yes, that's true.
And this was coming about before this whole issue, because people have been complaining to me about, you know what, I had insurance and they dropped me, and I didn't make a claim, or I had a claim and they put me through so much just to get a roofing claim, or now I was never informed of what I really needed to have in regards to water and sewer backup.
Right.
So there are a lot of issues with the insurance company.
Yeah.
There are even more than what we were going to look at addressing and having meetings about.
Yeah. No, I see Mary. Mary, are you there?
Mary Gardner. I brought up racial disparities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has definitely been one of the topics of conversation and concern in the community. And that was vocalized by one of the women in the audience that attended the press conference. She was like, let's just call it what it is. The reason why the Red Cross ain't over here and they over there is because of the makeup of the community. You know, so she was saying that, of course, it was a racial makeup.
Right.
And additionally, when you start talking about that, then inevitably you're gonna get to a space to talk about the migrants. So that came up too, you know, and how we somehow found $51 million to be able to give migrants and other resources for them to stabilize their lives as they come over here, you know, and we're still searching. And it does feel, you know, as if, again, here's another attack on being Black in this country, you know, unfortunately. And it's just like,
I think Tara brought up something about environmental justice regarding racial environmental justice to that effect.
Yes, you did, yeah.
And that's a whole nother thing, because we did it that way also, you know. Big incinerators, big on the west side for years. And we were wondering why so many kids were getting asthma and what. And it was coming from that all of these years. Nobody ever said anything.
Mary, you said you were a little under the weather. Sorry about that. I saw the picture today. You and Crystal was out in the 37th Ward promoting the 290 IPO. I know that we were talking about, you know, community and building community and the elected officials. I really wanted, you know, to hear like the progress of the IPO, only because I haven't been able to make the meetings. The meetings have been going on at different times where I've had stuff set up. But I understand, so hopefully we can get you on to talk about it, you know, next week or whenever.
That's fine. Hope you feel better. Insurance companies need our money to stay afloat, but so many don't help. Yeah,
but sidebar, if you are from the west side or, you know, along the strip of the 290, you all need to start learning a little bit more about the 290 IPO, which is, you know, our own political power that we need to be building so that we can influence change in the community. Again, coming from this whole flooding thing, there was a lot of umbrage being taken with our current leadership. And as I said, I wish this had happened during an election season, because I know all of y'all would show up at the polls, but, you know, we still got to take that energy and start to channel it. And Crystal Gardner and has really been a steward of the West Side, or was the 290 IPO. So y'all should, check out for that so we can start building our political power.
Right, that's right. So if someone else has a question, I'm gonna start the end of it. But nevertheless, summer's moving on pretty fast, y'all. It's almost school time. People going back to school pretty soon. Real quick. Which I guess that's what's great that Congressman Davis parade. When is it?
Right, sir? August 19th?
August 19th, yeah. Back to school parade. Probably like 30th year or something, 30 years.
Oh man, you've been doing that thing for a minute.
Right,
Sure.
right. But what is it? The city's trying to get homeowners to replace private water lines. So something may cost a lot. Water lines, you know about that? Or are you talking about sewer lines? Oh, or they're talking about the actual incoming water?
I know, it's new to me.
I know they were doing something with it. They were doing it, then they stopped because they were actually disturbing the lines and creating more, putting more lead in the water by doing so. So I think they kind of backed off on that, but I don't know. Good question, if anybody knows, we have to check into that.
Yeah, what are you talking about right there? Yes, whatever is connected. Yeah, no, I don't know. You want to talk about that, Alicia? I don't know nothing about that.
Give us a little bit more of what you may be speaking of, Alicia. There.
Yeah, well, I got some from the library. Let me see.
I think that's
And my mother said somebody came out to her house too. What did it say? Learn about Chicago's what's this, lead service line replacement program or something.
Yeah, that's the incoming water, your cold water that's coming in from the city. And what they were doing a few years ago, they were trying to replace the lines that were.
Yeah, I know they got this pamphlet. Something I got from the library has everything in it. And I think, oh, they're saying something about water testing or something for lead and stuff. I don't know. Hopefully they do something. There's a lot of people been traumatized with this situation, and it's so scary because I know that people be traumatized every time it rains because you don't know if flood gonna come knock your pilot light and mess up everything again. So it's horrible. It really is.
Steve, I can't hear anything. Hello? Hello?
I hear you, but I can't hear them.
Okay, because I can't hear a word they're saying either, so.
Although they may not know, but it's stuck with you the whole time, and I'm ready to get them back. Hey, hello.
No wonder. They must not know the sound went out. Let's see.
Rashad Todd. Yeah, what a name. That's Shaquille O'Neal. I want to thank my mom, my grandmother, because there was this time about the spiders, and they left me in the bathroom and they went to this party and they let me in the bathroom. I was still using the restroom and they're like, hey, if you don't hurry up, we're going to leave you. So I was like, go ahead and leave. So they shut off the lights on me, started banging on the doors, making all these spooky noises and saying, the killer's going to get you, the killer's going to get you.
Oh, gosh.
Say, but tell us how you how did you
Next thing you know, I just started screaming like, coming back for you. Clearly deserved to be pranked back. What are you thinking? How do you want to prank them? What I plan on doing is incredible. So I'm gonna have them go up to the house and it's gonna be a mantle. And once we come in, it's gonna be this Ouija board, and on top of that, it's like a cast full with ashes. The owner's gonna say, "Oh, my grandfather, please bring it back if you don't touch it."
would they be terrified?
Can anybody else hear me?
So they do that.
Yeah, I can hear you, but I don't know what they're listening to.
The living dead.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
I
sent
can
them
hear
a,
you.
I sent them a message telling them the sound went out, but they haven't responded. So
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know.
yeah. I don't know what they hit. We can hear each other.
Okay, just can't
Yeah.
hear.
Yep. Okay, Steve said he working on it.
Oh, okay, good.
He just texted.
Okay, good.
Banging the wall. From there, I want the TV to just settle and then it just starts flipping all like big dying snakes, spiders, and then it goes this dark, the lights are flickering like a ghost coming closer and closer to them. And boom, right there.
Does it appear to you guys that we have to work harder than any other community to get simple resources that we need?
Yeah, that seemed like the pattern always.
Yeah,
I don't know
it-
why. They can get our vote, want our vote just easy, but they don't want to do nothing for us.
right.
Yes, it's horrible. That's where the racial disparity issue comes in, that we
And
at
a
the
lot
bottom.
of it is contributed by our own people.
Yeah.
Because the Red Cross should have been out here when we first started complaining. But they
Yeah.
weren't, I don't know how that works.
They're supposed to go to disaster areas. I don't get it. But like you said.
They don't think we're worthy of receiving services.
Right. That's all. That's what everything.
That's why I've been stopped giving it to them. I don't give it to United Way, Red Cross no more, because they don't look out for us.
No, they don't. And whoever they looking out for aren't giving them money. And then something else that bothers me too is because whenever we have a disaster, it's always highlighted or pinpoint that people are getting stuff that they really don't need. But isn't that all the communities? You think everybody in Cicero need resources?
Mhm.
Do you think
Exactly. Because ain't that many blacks in Cicero? Believe me.
Right. A lot of Mexicans.
Right. And then some people in Oak Park, I'm pretty sure they have means. They don't need the resources either. They got money.
Yes.
There you go.
Yo.
Y'all there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
We here. We couldn't hear y'all.
Yeah, we couldn't hear y'all either. What's happening?
Yeah, this the little speaker we got here went out.
It's the ozone.
I don't
But
know,
we were
yeah.
seeing like a conversation on the radio or something.
Really?
Yeah. No, I was just saying that, as we're talking about the flood, one of the things that they're speculating that the flood waters not only here in Chicago, but all of these other occurrences across the U.S. and the world in general are a direct result of climate change. And I was saying that Tiny and I are generally the conspiracy theorists on the line, but we know that like they are legit making clouds, right? Like in Dubai, they make it rain. We also know that cloning is real. In fact, there's 2 organizations that are growing meat or not even meat, chicken that will not be from
An egg.
an egg. Yeah, they will be lab grown straight, and this is happening now. It's already got FDA approval. So these are going to come directly from cells, and they're not going to be from chickens, right? So it's this idea like there are folks that are actually controlling a lot, multifaceted of the world that we live in. And, you know, I, for one, believe that even a part of this weather may very well be one of the things that they're controlling in order to get things passed. Again, that's some conspiracy theorist talk, but regardless, I do think, as I was talking about government's role, and I do think it's being incumbent on us as people to also be involved in our own salvation. As Steve mentioned, there is no Superman coming. We need to start learning how to be more sustainable in our practice, you know? The Water Reclamation District has rain barrels that they're giving to community folks. I think we should have a ton of those. I would love to see more solar panels. I want to see more renewable energy. I want to see more compost. I have an idea for a machine that I would love to see called a repurposer, which it's echoing, which means that we can utilize, whether it's our plastics, our rubber, our wood materials, whatever we don't want, we can dump it into the machine, press a button on it, and it changes it to something else that we do want. Like, I want to see things like that. And I think if we can start to move toward that space in terms of sustainability, then we can create not only jobs, but we can create, we can decarbonize our own footprint, and we can start to not have to rely solely on government. But that's just me. I want to move into that space, though. I really believe that sustainable practices is what we need in order to incorporate in our lives in order to, function much better as a society and move away from some of these things that are killing the earth. But I do see that you had your hand right. Steve said the stupid alleged Canadian wildfire smoke. Exactly. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? How, like, it's getting bad, y'all. They say by 2050, half of the northeastern states are gonna be underwater. And they say that's a result of climate change. And I know we are dependent on government to tell us what to do and how to do it, but what are we gonna do in order to improve the environment's conditions?
Yeah.
Did you want to say something, Felicia? I think I saw your hand. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just you were saying something about conspiracy. It's really not. You on point, DeAndre. It's really not, because they're supposed to have something like a HARP machine that controls the weather and stuff like that and causes earthquakes and everything.
Right.
They're doing a whole lot of stuff.
But when you say control, do you mean create or stop?
Pretty much control, create. It's somebody controlling the weather.
Right.
With a machine. I believe somebody got something pointed on Chicago to make people go crazy. People use all those little sonic frequencies. I know they have like stuff to look through your walls and everything.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was gonna say this. With all this flood talk and everything, you guys notice you don't hear a lot about the shootings in Chicago?
And those are studies there. It's ugly.
You notice that, right? The last 3 weekends, that has not been the biggest thing. And I know that, it happens a lot, but you haven't heard much about it. Is it just the media pushing it that way, or has things kind of calmed down a little bit?
No. Shooting is still still relatively high, you know.
Yeah.
They're trending. They're still trending fairly upwards. You know?
Yeah, I got a call yesterday, 4800 block of Wabansie, I think it was. Somebody was shot. Let me see what it was here. I got 4759 West Wabansie, a male, 27 years old, shot in the leg, listed in stable condition. That's just the other side of Pulaski. No, I'm sorry. Other side of Cicero. In Wabansie.
Yeah.
Which is right by the Walmart.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. A lot going on. That's for certain. One thing for certain, two things for sure. We got a lot going on, and we got to figure out how to get out of some of this. Because what? We halfway through the summer now. Where we at?
Shit, we at the end.
The end of the summer.
Well, I would say, I mean, you know, I feel like you roughly want to. No, technically we're not at the end. Summer starts June 22nd. It should end September.
Right. About the middle almost.
Yeah.
The middle. And
I just said the end because people are gonna go back to school though.
Yeah.
In about what? They'll be back to school maybe another month.
Grade school kids? High school and grammar?
Yeah. They could be. It's either gonna be the last weekend in August or maybe the first weekend in September.
Right.
There's some because my baby is about to start school, and there's still some back and forth about whether it's gonna be that first weekend in September or the last weekend.
I got you.
It's anywhere from a month to about 5 weeks.
Well, anyway,
yeah,
we gotta move on. What y'all got? What else going on out there, y'all? Because I know everybody got something. And Jacob, where you going? She been driving since she been on. She trying to get out.
You on mute, Jacob?
Gosh, huh? A lot of domestic violence going on.
Yeah.
Maybe the past 2 weeks, domestic violence. Yeah,
you still on. No, you're right. Domestic violence issues are very high. In fact, the 15th district did a response. This was about a week ago. Yeah, this was a week ago. This was the last Friday that we put together the informational at the church. They did some at 7 p.m. where they went over on Madison and Laverne or Madison LeClaire, roughly up in that area, because there were domestic related issues that happened. I think one was a female shot a male, and I think there was also something around a female shooting a parent. And so, yeah, domestic issues, you know, those are the worst calls that police officers get, because you never know what you're getting into. Some of them just regular instances of an argument, and you might have to move one of the folks off the home. You know, others, you know, you come to a scene that's terrifying, you know, and others still, you come to a scene that you know is going to continue on even after you leave. And so that's one of the worst calls. I say this, I said, one of the things that I realized about today is, and I'm just gonna leave it at men because I can't speak for how women are, but men need to have emotional regulators. I feel like we don't have emotional regulators. I'm a big proponent of therapy. I go to a therapist every week. I am learning how to be more emotional intelligent and to just be a better friend, a better community member, a better leader in general. That's why I go to therapy, and I will always be a proponent of it and tell folks to go. But it's such a necessity for people to have an outlet of somebody else to talk to that they can feel safe with, that they know that whatever they're espousing to them won't get out. Because man, the lack of emotional regulation is crazy to me. I just, for the life of me, can't understand how, and I guess it's conflict management and conflict resolution skills. We need to be learning. don't understand why those are not taught in schools, you know, but I also see opportunity in our nonprofits to be able to start teaching that. If domestic violence is an issue, why haven't we, again, because we're reactive. So if something happens, we have resources, we have places you can go, but the proactive would be, where's the conflict resolution? Training, where's the skill development? Where's the emotional regulation? Where is the showing people how to have, I guess, more positive self-outlook? Sometimes that's what it's driven by too. I don't know, but we need to start putting these things in place, whether it's community-oriented, it's school, something. Domestic violence issues are one of it's one of the biggest issues that we face today.
Well, one of the things, someone asked that we talk about the elected school board. I don't know if everybody realized this is the year coming up in 24.
Yeah.
Elected school board. You know, we've never in the history of Chicago had an elected school board. And this should be a game changer. You know, being able to pick the people that we want, that live in our communities, that are affected with the school system that we have today. And I think that was on a referendum move, man, 8-9 years ago, man. And it's just now
what we had now.
We're about to get it rolling. I hope it turns out to be for the benefit of the communities that, you know, have been deficient and overlooked all these years. I always go back to the lottery. When the lottery came out in '79, they said, oh, it's gonna help all the school systems in the state of Illinois. And at the time I was leaving the grade school, going to high school, and I said, man, I hope they get new books, because we never had any. We hope they get, you know, some systems in the, you know, we didn't really have computers in the classroom there, but I'm like, hope they get some aids to help the kids. And, you know, now that I'm leaving, but it never happened. They never spent a dime on school systems in the west side and south side that I know of. But hopefully this elected school boards will be able to cite some things to help the kids in Chicago.
Well, I know one of the things that they're trying to do is get the map together. You know, the map was looking a little crazy, and so, you know, depending on how it actually comes out, you know, again, you don't want to have those disparities, because, you know, some communities participate more than others, and if, you know, and this is just me just throwing something out there, if you mess around and again, you get West Town and West Humboldt Park, you know, together, and more participants are from West Town, then, you know, where's the equality in that? And so, you know, folks are really trying to make sure that the map is actually representative, and they try to get this thing right. But, you know, just like everything, it ain't gonna be right on the first try, you know. The hope is that you get it there, and then you hope that you get the right people in a position to make things happen. But again, you know, you ain't gonna always bat 100, not on the rollout. So, you know, you gotta put your pain in, do what you need to do. Well, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be an interesting thing, you know. It's gonna be very interesting, you know. So
the maps are red line. The maps are red line.
Yeah, I mean, well, like I said, they're trying to, you know, fix it up right now. There's talks of it. I was on one of these conversations, one of these groups, and, you know, that's what we were talking about, trying to fix it. Oh, you know, that makes me think, before I forget. So on August 5th at LCLC, Lawndale Christian Legal Center, myself and some of my other district council members from various districts on the west side and near west side are putting together a Know Your Rights seminar. It's aptly titled Know Your Rights. Is there such thing as driving while black and brown? And we're gonna have the ACLU, we're gonna have LCLC, Lawndale Christian Legal Center. Also, their address is 1530 South Hamlet, for those that would like to attend. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about the newly released traffic data on the statistics of driving black and or brown, which is, you know, it looks, it's very, how you say it, like, the statistic does not favor you being a person of color behind a wheel. Statistically, we get stopped at greater numbers, and oftentimes there is, police officers don't find anything offensive when they stop us. You know, no drugs, no guns, no things like that, nothing illegal. Yet our counterparts get stopped at a far less number than we do, but there's a greater propensity for them to find illegal things, whether it's drugs or guns or anything else. And we want to make sure that folks are educated around those numbers, make sure they know they have some do's and don'ts of driving while black or brown. And we also want to kind of give some updates and information on the lawsuit that the ACLU has against the city of Chicago. No, I'm not advocating for the lawsuit because I'm part of the government of the city of Chicago, but I'm also making sure that folks they understand their rights, and they also, if they want to take part in it, they have that option too as well. But we'll be doing that from 1 to 3 on August 5th at LCLC. And again, that is 1530 South Hamlin. So yeah, I just want, before I forget, and I'll say that again at the end when I'm wrapping up too.
Yeah. What about the safety act? You heard much about that lately?
No, not outside of cash bail. I mean, it is now going to be implemented. Cashless bail. It passed the Illinois Supreme Court, and so it is officially law now. So cashless bail is a thing. You know, I think that was the biggest issue that folks had with the Safety Act, where they felt like people would be able to bail out easier, you know, and the offenses that was listed for them to be able to bail out with zero money, actually. Where some that, you know, you can look at it and, you know, you're like, hold on now, because that's a little, I feel like, you know, that's a little much right there, but hey, it's passed now. So the best we can do is get read up on it so that we can be prepared to see what this no cashless bail thing looks like. It'll be good in a lot of ways, because a lot of folks have, you know, sat in jail because they couldn't afford $1,000, $500 worth of bail, and you know they didn't do anything that was critical enough for them to just sit there, but they just didn't have the funds. So for those folks, you know, it'll be great. But for those that feel like, you know, criminals will be unfairly let out of jail, you know, they are upset. But hey, it passed our Supreme Court and it's law now. So we just got to get studied up and know exactly what the ramifications will be. And we'll see as people start going to jail for their offenses. I mean, not a whole lot you can do with that. Yeah. Let me make sure I got this address right again.
So with regard to the elected school board, anybody know how many people? Well, I guess the same amount, right?
No, I don't know. I don't know as much as that. We probably gonna have to bring somebody in so they can talk about it.
Yeah, definitely need to find out if that's coming down the pipe. I know Claiborne probably knows quite a bit about it. Claiborne Wade. He was telling me about, you know, they were having meetings coming up. But
oh yeah, and I said that right, yeah. 1530 South Hamlet, yeah. That is where we're gonna be for LCLC, and then with the ACLU, you know your rights. There's such things as driving while black or brown. Yeah, it's a facility.
15th and Hamlet.
Yep, 1530 South Hamlet. Yep.
What's the name of the facility? You know?
Lawndale Christian Legal Center.
Okay.
LCLC. Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep. So if you know anybody that's been stopped unfairly during a traffic stop, please send them our way. I'm gonna send out some information and everything too. I'm gonna put it in the chat, matter of fact, so y'all know. Let me see.
What are you looking for?
Oh shoot. I didn't mean to send that right now. Hey, Tiny, so you said, so how's the investment thing going, man?
Well, it's not going good. I haven't heard anything else about it since I heard that the government was going into it. So just waiting to see about that. But let me change the subject a little bit. And I was talking to some people earlier, and we were talking about affirmative action and the effect that that'll have on people, Black people, not being able to go to college. And I told them that I think it was good that the Supreme Court passed that, because I don't see where integration did all that good for Black people anyway. I think that if we can't go to white colleges, maybe they'll make more of us go to the Black colleges, and I think that would improve us. So what do you guys think about? And that is based on, I think of it as integration and segregation. And I think integration was bad for Black people.
I agree. I agree. I think, you know what? So now I want to be clear about the Supreme Court ruling, right? Because I know that means that affirmative action, now they basically created some cracks so they can just get rid of affirmative action in general. But as it stands, it's for Harvard and another school, right? It was just two schools that they removed affirmative action for. Was it not?
Harvard and Yale?
I don't know. I don't think it was
IB. Who's knocking down the...
What was it, Tiny? Was it just those two schools for now?
No, I think it's more than just Harvard and it was another kind of. I think it was more than that. I mean, those were the main ones, the Ivy League, but I think that all the schools are going into that. They don't want to give Black people an inroads to going to college. And they taking away scholarships for Black and Latino people too.
Man. So, okay. All right, bet, boom. So look, the difficulty for me is that I feel that we have enough folks that are educated that we need to be teaching ourselves at this point. And I feel in some respect that we are still trying to seek validation from other people, by because I was relishing the opportunity to go to a historically Black college. I love going to Howard. To this day, when I step on that campus, I'm like, ain't nothing like Howard. Like, then I'm sure any other, huh? Say it again.
Okay, me too. I wish I could have had a chance to go to Howard. I would have went to Howard if I could have, rather than Dartmouth. And the thing,
yeah. So you went to Dartmouth, though. But you went to Dartmouth.
And the thing.
What the hell is it?
You're breaking up, Tiny.
Well, see what happens. The thing about going to those schools is that they have an old boys network. And Black people, you still can't get in the old boys network just because you go to the school. You still don't get all the benefits that the white people have by going to those colleges.
Still going on.
No, I don't.
But DeAndre, y'all gotta see the bigger picture. It's just starting at the schools. It's gonna start at the workplace, right? They're gonna make it that we can't get promotion on the strength of our knowledge. It's gonna affect other areas too. Us getting into good jobs and stuff. It's not just gonna be education.
Wait,
It was Harvard.
Blacks can only go so far. I mean, they may let a few up in those systems where you could see them. You know, look at the president here.
You're breaking up, Tiny.
But they just spokespeople. They just spokespeople.
Yeah.
Believe me, a lot of them just spokespeople to say we got diversity in our companies. A lot of them ain't got no power. Believe me, and it's hard to move up that corporate ladder.
Right.
Very hard.
Right.
But here's the deal with the corporate ladder, though. Anything, Black people are the largest consumers of things and stuff in the United States. And so we still act, and we are actually the tastemakers. We are the culture. Anything that Black people do, we deem it cool. And people making money off us hand over fist. So it's less about, you know, the schools and all of this, but it's more about like, when are we gonna wake up and realize that we actually moved the needle in the US? Not only since we were brought here and were free labor for them, but even till this day, we continue to move the needle.
Because every time we move the needle, the people that own the record player sell it to the other people.
Now they sell it back to us. Because again, we're the ones that's spending all the money here.
No. Like, look at Bob Johnson. He owned BET.
Yeah.
He was the first Black man to own a major airline.
Mm-hmm.
What did he do?
Yeah, he did.
He sold it all off.
So, yeah.
Look at Famous Amos. He was the first, you know, pretty well-known chocolate chip cookie maker, blah, 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 millionaire, whatever he was, sold it off. So, you know, what's going on with the people that's making all the money, putting it back into where we are, since we're spending it with them, and building from that?
Yeah, no, it ain't gonna happen. You know, it was like, I was just watching something, Jon Stewart was talking about Walmart and how Walmart is one of the largest companies that can, you know, give their investors dividends. You know, all of it, a lot of their profits are going back into the coffers of their investors. But the majority of their workforce are those that are actually on public aid. So you're talking about the tax, so like the game is flipped, because you're talking about us as taxpayers funding these people that are working at Walmart where we go spend our money at. And in turn, the money goes right back into the coffers of the most rich people, as well as the governmental entities that create the societies for them to continue to get rich. That's a dirty game. That's a dirty game, but that's so in response to the question is because rich people will never give back, because in one vein, they know that we're gonna give it right back to them. That's what I said. Like this we in a space where we need to unlearn, relearn. We gotta unlearn all the bullshit that was dumped into us through, you know, this public education system, the carceral system, you know, hell, sometimes even our family system. And then we gotta relearn everything that is necessary for proper functioning as a Black person in America. And it's there for us because, again, we're the tastemakers, we're the culture, we're the leaders of change. Everything that is great about America is Black, period.
But you don't necessarily have to give back by monetarily. I mean, they can give back by giving scholarships and grants to, you know, what they say.
But they do that though.
Teacher man.
They do that though.
But so
all the organizations do that.
But you're saying these rich people are giving the money, they don't want to give the money back because they figure we're just gonna spend it on them again, right?
Yeah, because we will.
But we're saying don't give the money. We're saying give it, educate a person.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. They do though. I mean, all of these organizations have philanthropic arms that give to us.
Right.
Right? But like in giving, that is nothing but a write-off though.
For them.
All of our taxes.
Right.
So you know what I mean? It's just all it is a clever way to circumvent getting paid taxes. So again, you created the perfect system in which you keep these people in a perpetual state of need, And that need looks like you got to work 40 hours, but even in working 40 hours, you still got to be on government society. So the folks that can actually afford to live got to keep paying high amounts of taxes to afford the people that work in your organization, while all the profits, the real profits that you're taking, are going to the coffers of the individuals that are invested in this organization, who are also themselves millionaires and billionaires. And then you make sure that you have some left over so that you can feed your government partners, so that they can make sure that the corporation is still going to be successful each no matter who's in office. You know what I'm saying? It's a dirty game, but it's cool and it's slick, and we need to learn it. Black people need to unlearn, relearn. That's why. Look, I'm a huge proponent of us doing for ourselves, man. Until we start to understand how the game is being played, how it was sold to us, and what they got us doing, and how they got us doing it, then we're gonna keep doing it. We're gonna be doing it professionally for the rest of our lives, and then our kids are gonna be doing it, and their kids are gonna be doing it, and then we're gonna be sitting here. Well, we'll be dead, but you know, our hope is that we pass along some type of knowledge, so our people won't feel like they live the same way we live. But in actuality, because we probably did it, they probably are. And it's probably going to be much worse, because as the top continues to get more money, the bottom continues to lose money. And somehow, again, with this perfect system they've created, we keep giving them money over and over again.
It's the game that's never won, always played.
Man.
Well, you were saying, someone said that there were 9 states that were following through the affirmative action outside of, that were already out there.
Well, like Tiny said, I think it's the one thing about Black people that we've always been able to do is be resilient. We've always been able to figure out how to make things work. Soul food came from the scraps we were given. When I grew up, if we had to borrow electricity from the neighbor house, we had long ass extension cords running through the whole thing, and we figured out how to light the house. I mean, time and time again, no matter what the situation has been, we've been able to bounce back and figure out how to be, how to survive. Now, that's part of the issue of Black America. We've not moved from a pace of survival to thriving. But again, personally, and I'm only speaking for myself, I believe that is because of self. You can survive all you want, but to move to thriving, that's gonna take you yourself a plan and sticking to it. We can all get out of debt if we have a plan to do so. We can all become highly educated if we have a plan to do so. We can all figure out how to start businesses and become multimillionaires, but we have to have a plan to do so. And it's gonna take a lot of sacrifice and struggle to get to thriving, but only us can put us in a position to get what we want and need from this world, because nobody else is gonna give it to us. You know,
survive, thrive, and create the legacy.
That's it, man. You got to.
Those are the key.
You got to. We're gonna be survivors, and we're gonna keep doing it. So with this affirmative action thing, I know people up in arms, they upset, they pissed, but you know what Black people gonna do? Figure it out, because we always figure it out. And that's why we're the tastemakers. That's why we're the culture, because everybody come to us like, yeah, how y'all figure that out? They all some creative motherfuckers, man. Like I'm sure the white folks doing slavery in the town was like, well, goddamn, we gave these niggas slops. And look at this feast. This shit, goddamn it. How y'all put this together? We gave you turnip bottles, and you decided to throw it in the collard greens, and then you put some smoked meat in that. It was so good. I ain't never had, man. The people was out there like, man, like they be saying that man made the cotton gin, the white man made the cotton gin. Come on. You like they say, you mean to tell me some white man gonna make the Black man's job easier? Come on, man. You leave us to our own devices, and you let us figure it out. We're gonna figure it out. We've had so many thriving communities, right? Each time we did, they came and blew it up because they were jealous of it. We got that in our DNA. If nothing else, we are resilient people, and we're gonna make it happen, man.
Alicia just said the same thing.
So I say that to say I don't trip about all of these things that are happening to us because I know we're gonna figure it out. I know we need to be pissed about the fact that it feels like others are getting more than us, or it feels like we're constantly being dumped on. But that's the reality of living Black in this world that was given to us. We didn't create anything that we see in front of us. Our ancestors did, and they don't have no claim to it today. You know, and so the goal of being Black is to figure it out, but to also not give over your power, right? Like we can't always give our time to others. We can't continue to not build our skills. We can't not educate our kids. Like we cannot continue to give over our power of our lives to others so that they can manage it for us, or they're gonna keep feeding us bullshit, and we just gonna keep eating it, and then that's what it's gonna be for the rest of our lives. You know,
Both gotta stop somewhere, right?
it got to, and it start with us. It start with us, period.
Well, that means you have to really unify.
Yeah, you do. You do.
What did they say about the sum of the whole?
Greater
The unit is only as
Yeah, no, some of the whole is greater than the parts.
right.
Yep.
And that's what we gotta get back.
Yep.
We really do.
Yep. Now look, I'm with you. You're right. AI is taking jobs. But I was telling this last week, Felicia. I went on the computer because I don't have the skill of AI. Now, when I was taking my master's, I was getting into machine learning when I learned about Watson supercomputer made by IBM. This was back in, I don't know, 2005 when Watson was first developed. That was the first supercomputer that they had put against Jeopardy players, and that computer was beating some of the top Jeopardy players. And they were showing how learning algorithms could be implemented in computers so that it can scour the internet and find all of the questions, and it could download whole libraries. And this was 2005. And now we're here in 2023, and AI has officially launched, and you can do whatever you want with AI. You don't, and my thing is, us as Black folks gotta be in the know. There are jobs right now for $300,000 as a front writer for AI. All you gotta do is go on YouTube, stop looking at women shake their ass, and make these vulgar songs, and go study that. Just like I wanted to learn how to make an app for myself. So don't be surprised that within the next year, DeAndre got an app that I'm asking y'all to download. It'll be for free, but AI gonna make it for me. So yes, AI is taking jobs, but what that means is go build the skill, go learn it, Black people. Don't be afraid to take on something different and new because it's not in your wheelhouse, it's not in the field. You gotta learn it. Don't let these other folks, because when I went on there and I'm trying to learn how to download these things, and it was not one Black person teaching it. It wasn't. It was South Asian people, and it was Indian folks. So and there were a handful of white people. So again, like let's not be afraid of that. And yeah, trades too. We absolutely need to get in the trades. I don't know why people are afraid to pick up hammers. They'll pick up the hammer, but they don't want to pick up the hammer. Like, come on, B. A lot of money out here. A lot of money out here, man. Yeah,
A lot of
money, man.
There's a lot of need. Much is needed. Much is needed, but little is given.
Man, we gotta push these folks to these things, man. It's all about you, your curiosity, and open up your world to something different. Sometimes I believe our culture can be detrimental and destructive because of what we continue to see, and it's coming from us. Now, I know that this is the media narrative. So the media wants us to show ourselves shooting and killing and fighting and stabbing and cussing and shaking ass and, being hypersexualized and all that. But that ain't the whole Black experience. That's just a part. The Black experience is really being educated, being a philosopher, being a poet, being an artist. You know what I mean? Like I said, being a tastemaker. Like I love when you see Black people in uncommon positions. Like you got Black sommeliers. Damn, Black man, you went to wine? Man, that type of stuff makes me proud to be a Black person. Like, that's what I'm saying. Do the shit that nobody expects us to be involved in, man. Because you know us as Black people gonna make it doper than it was before we got there. You know what I mean? Like, so it's this thing, like, well, we need to, again, I'm only talking the way I talk because I'm a very self-driven individual. I believe in self-accountability and personal responsibility. If those two things were bigged up in our community, I think we'd all be a lot further along because those are two very essential qualities of any person that is trying to get along in life. You have to have that. You got to understand where you fit within your world, and you got to understand what your world demands of you. Being in it. My bad. Somebody can go.
No, I think it was just a mistake. Felicia said that daughter was a nail tech apprentice, went through an apprenticeship program with After School Matters.
Facts. When Black people started getting into nails, they started doing some cool shit with it, man. Took it to a different space. Then what happened? The Koreans and the Asians started copying. And now all the sisters go right back to them instead of going, you know what I mean? But, you know, that's a whole different conversation, but, you know, that's what it is. It was Black people that started making deals that go crazy.
Well, you know, a lot of that stems from our school system and how they link the youth to these different trades and stuff like that. They have these STEM schools, but it's only for certain people. And then they have the regular plain old public school where not much is being said about technology or trades. You know, everybody need a plumber every now and then. Everybody need a refrigerator repairman, but none of that is linked through the education.
Right.
You understand? Right. And that's where we need to start at. And start these kids from second grade on up to talking about trades and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I because now we have the Aspire Center for Workforce Development. I don't know if they're gonna be really big on trade. I hope so, but for y'all that don't know, that is what is gonna replace Emmett right there on Chicago, Madison and Central. And it's called the Aspire Center for Workforce Development, Ground and Growth. They're building it now. And again, my hope is that they have the trades there that people are trying to get into. Additionally, I've been saying for a minute, I want to advocate that we change Austin High School into a technical school. I'm talking about the barber shop is in there, the automotive shop is in there, the CNC machines is up in there, the STEM or whatever else is up in there, and you got the plumbing, the electrician, and the carpentry, and it just leads. That's the only thing going on in that school. You ain't got nothing else. And of course, you're gonna have your basic math and whatnot. But for me personally, I would actually make it so that people could test into it if they want to, and you can get all your maths and everything at a different place, or you build it into the curriculum because a lot of kids can't read. So, but if you could figure out how to use your hands in automotive class, and as you're going along with the illustration and you're using your hands, then you can teach yourself how to read because you're following along with the illustration. And now you can say, okay, well, what did you do? Well, I did X, Y, Z. Okay, well, that's what this paragraph said. This paragraph is exactly what you just said.
You're meeting them at where they're at.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what we need in the community. We need a trade-only school. And I think if we change Austin High School into that will be much better.
And I think we need to teach kids heating and air conditioning. With climate change coming, I think they need to learn about heating and air conditioning.
Yeah, HVAC, yeah. Throw that up in there too. That's a trade, absolutely. Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
how come I don't hear much about Austin having any of those classes? The one you mentioned, I didn't know they had that there, and I've been here forever. So how is it being televised? How is it being?
No, they don't have that. What I'm saying is, if I had my wish, Austin High School would be completely transformed into a technical only school, and they will only have those trades that I mentioned, including HVAC only. They don't have any of that right now. They have what was called Manufacturing Renaissance, where they had some CNC machines in there, but they actually removed that now. Right. So I'm not exactly certain of the different resources that they offer to the kids. What I do know that was up in there was INVC, the Institute of Nonviolent Chicago. They had BAM, Becoming a Man, and they had WOW, Women of Wonder, I think. I think that's what WOW is. But now they got some social services up in there, but they ain't got nothing for the kids to learn so they can develop their skills. But again, part of it though is LSC. You gotta have some parents with some kids that's in that school to go up there and advocate for that. That's why we have LSC. But if we're not saying, or we as community not going there to support and say, this is what we want, this is what we need, because we have one-off conversations about trade, and to this point, we've not created an ordinance or a mission around getting a trade school going. Like, we have one-off conversations, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, if we really want it, we got to advocate for it, for real.
You know, everything you mentioned is computer driven. You know, the future is all, well, the future was then.
Yeah, facts. It's here now, yeah.
You say the future now, the future was then.
Yeah, facts.
Now it's moving fast. Felicia asked about Westinghouse. Westinghouse is not a trade school anymore. They don't do trades in cosmetology.
Yeah, I don't think they do. My niece go there. I can ask her though, but I don't think they do.
No. Matter of fact, they take. There's more kids from other parts of the city than the community that's right around Westinghouse.
Yeah, they like not a magnet per se, but like a selective enroll or something like that. One of them. Yeah. But they definitely, Westinghouse is a very diverse group. Very diverse.
My granddaughter graduated from Westinghouse and she had a 4.6 GPA.
Go crazy.
And she had to score high in order to get to that school. They had a lot of other races other than black. And the black kids they did have were from the community. You know, they have to take the ones from the community, but they had the Shura program that my granddaughter was involved with, and they had promised that they would pay her college tuition if she go to a select institution, but she didn't want to go. So they just give her some money. But I heard that Westinghouse has fallen off. They're lower ranked now because of the kids they're getting in there. They're not educational minded.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They letting the kids from around the community get up in there, and they ain't trying to. Cause my niece went over there, she's taking Mandarin and all type of stuff. I'm like, damn.
Right. And it was really fantastic. It was a good school. But I don't know what happened with that. I don't know what happened after she graduated, because I got a niece there, and I don't know what happened, but it's not as high up on that scale as it was before.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Well, all right, y'all. Yeah, we right up at the 8 o'clock hour, so we're gonna leave right there. You know how we do before we like to sign off. We go around the room to get y'all final thoughts. So I'm gonna start with you, Ella. See you on my screen.
Okay. Well, I enjoyed our conversation. I just wish some of the things that we talked about can materialize. Because you know, we do need the educational piece. We need them to stop putting us on the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to services that our community needs. We're not looking for a handout. We're looking for a hand up. And they need to get that mentality out of their head that all Black folks want to do is for people to bring stuff to them, because that's not true. So that's it. Guys, I enjoyed it.
But it's okay because immigrants get things, they're getting things brought to them. So it's okay.
Yeah, they get everything, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, things are being handed.
But nobody is talking about it. It only pertains to Black people. Ain't nobody talking about them getting handouts. It only pertains to us when we want something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Tiny?
Yeah. Well, I always like being around like-minded people. And the peacemakers, we're going to start a peace campaign, you know, where we ain't saying everybody who work for peace got to be a peacemaker, but we just want to put that out there. Peace, a peace campaign.
Put down the guns and ceasefire, love and embrace.
Right.
All
thing for peace.
That's right. We need it.
Absolutely. I just want to say, you know, from the meeting that happened on Friday out south, I thought it was a pretty good turnout. A lot of West Siders were out there. Ernest Cato was there. He actually was at the table where they were talking about public safety. And many people said he had some really great ideas. You know, it's very unfortunate that we may not see him as a superintendent, but you know, maybe he's got some other plans that can help us all out, you know, as a regular citizen.
Yeah. You talking about that meeting over at St. Paul's?
Yes, the St. Paul, right, meeting.
Yeah,
that was a good. Excellent meeting. Anybody else? Miss J, where you at? You on unmute. Can you up here? Because she's driving. She's rolling.
You hear me?
Yeah, we hear you now.
Oh, okay. I'm about faith, accountability, numbers count. We gotta make it happen, come together and make things happen. We can't talk about it, we gotta be about it. That's it, that's all.
That's right, Ms. J. Anybody else? Barry, you got anything before we conclude?
Hey everyone. Steve, I'm glad to hear you sounding as good as you are. Hope you're feeling well. And I didn't, is Cato not a contender anymore?
Go ahead.
Yeah, he didn't make the top three.
Right.
Oh, really?
But this is the crazy thing. I told DeAndre, I was at a dinner with Jason Irvin. He was sitting right next to me, and Paul Jakes brought up Cato because he was at the meeting with us. And he said, now this is Auburn. He says, oh no, he'd probably be looked in the second round. I'm like, what second round? He's like, so I'm like, you part of the city council. What's going on? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what's what. He'll be. He literally said he's probably gonna be picked in the next, you know. And then I'm like, what? That doesn't make sense. If you have a second round and you bring him into the second round and you pick somebody from the first round, why didn't you just pick these two from the beginning?
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. Yeah. But yeah, they said don't forget the Christian Legal Center, 1530 South Airman. 8 to 5, 8 in the morning to 5?
No, 8-5.
8-5.
August 5th.
Oh, August 5th. Okay.
1 to 3.
Okay, August 5th. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna say it again. I just put it back in the chat. Missy, wait, did Ella go?
No, she's still there.
No, oh, no, she did go. Do the first one. All right, go ahead, Steve.
That was it for me. I was just, talking about the meeting that happened Friday, and quite a few West Siders out south. I think it was a good collaboration. They're going to be doing it again in September. We'll notify those that would like to show up.
West
at
Side down
St.
south.
Paul Church on 45th and Wabash.
All right, yeah. So just like I dropped in the chat, like I say, August 5th from 1 to 3 at LCLC, Lawndale Legal Christian Center, Lawndale Christian Legal Center, 1530 South Hamlin. We are hosting, me and some of the other police district council members from the West Side and surrounding districts are doing a Know Your Rights seminar, aptly titled Know Your Rights. Is there such thing as driving while black and brown? Which there is. So we will have statistical data to suggest that there is a such thing as driving black and brown. We'll also give you some do's and don'ts that you need to follow while driving black and brown, as well as we'll give you some information about the lawsuit that ACLU has out on the city regarding driving while black and brown. So if you know anybody that's been unfairly stopped or feel like they've been approached in traffic unfairly, please let them know to attend. It's gonna be a good time, very informational for all those that need that type of information. And again, that is August 5th from 1 to 3 at LCLC, Lawndale Christian Legal Center, 1530 South Hamlin. And with that, listen, we always come to you 6 p.m. We welcome you to Northwest Austin Council, where we are broadcasting from Facebook, YouTube, and Zoom. So you really just choose the apparatus that you like to interact with, and check us out. Also, just share the show, y'all. Y'all ain't gotta be kids. Tell folks to come on, man, so we can. Because one of the things about this is, we do talk about a lot of different topics and subjects. But 2 people can't do it, 3 people can't do it, 4 people. All of us that's on the phone right now, that's 9 people in total, cannot do it. We got to get many more people involved. So, just let folks know. Sunday is the night where, you can be like Miss J driving wherever you need to drive to. You can be washing your dishes. You can be folding your clothes. You can be getting ready for Monday. Like, just tune in, listen to us, and you know what I'm saying? You can get through your day a lot easier. Now, with that said, like I say, 6 to 8 every Sunday. We like to welcome y'all to Northwest Austin Council. So, in closing, I say we have many open seats at the table. All we try to do is just welcome y'all on home. Thank y'all for allowing us to welcome you to Northwest Austin Council.
So,
y'all, good night, y'all.
Good night.